Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Snack Time. My name is Ben, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a cool project called Container Census. And what this project is going to be doing for you is allow you to monitor all of your different Docker containers. Yes, this is a Docker video, and it's going to allow you to see the resource usage. It's going to show you a cool little like visual map of how they're connected with the virtual networks. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you everything about it that I can find. And then I will show you how to install it, both the server and also the agent that you'll load on the, your different hosts that, you're running. Maybe you're running more than one Docker server. And if so, we can link them all together. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it and I'll show you around. All right, let's go ahead and do this. All right, I'll move myself off to the right and we're going to start on the dashboard. Got a cool little dashboard right here. We see a number of hosts that we have up. We have our agent statuses. We're also seeing the top resource usage. Who's our big talkers as far as memory and CPU. We can view all of them here if we want to. This will show us all of our resources, but that's getting into monitoring. We're not going to skip ahead too much. We also can manage our hosts, and this is just the dashboard is just a quick way for you to see kind of what's going on in your environment and give you a way to move around within the software. So we're going to be using the menu on the left here, but feel free to use the dashboard if you want to. I'm not going to stop you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over to our, none of these are buttons, by the way, just FYI. I think these are, no, these aren't either. They look like buttons. Maybe they will be one day. This is a pretty new project. All right, let's go to containers. And containers are going to show us every container across all of our Docker servers. So if you click up here at the top right, we click on all hosts. This is going to be everybody. And then we can target specific hosts. This is the local one. This is the one I have running on the cloud. This is the one that's running an agent. So I can see all of them and separate them out. Very easy. This will show you different states. So if you wanted to see just the ones that are exited, paused, I don't think we have any exited. No, I don't think we have any paused. We are all running and yep, we are good to go. And this is also a great way for you to check for updates. So the developer rolled in the ability for you to check updates on your individual containers. I think it also runs automatically, but it's not going to update for you automatically. It's a very important thing to remember. And honestly, I'm in agreement with a lot of people that run Docker. I don't really want my containers to update automatically. That's sometimes how you get into trouble with, especially if the bad update rolls out. I like to give them a couple of days. So you can click on the check button here, and if there's an update, it will give you the option to click update right there. So you do have the way to update it. You can also control a little bit about your container. You have logs, restart, and stop. Let's see if we click on logs. Yeah, not too bad. Zoomed in a little bit, but not too terrible. We can see all of the logs that we have ingested. We can also search through those logs if we're looking for something specific. Let's see. Other than that, we do have a couple of buttons here that will take us to different parts of the monitoring. I think this is going to open up. Yeah, this is just a quick little window of what our maximum CPU, what our average is, average memory, and maximum memory. And this is over the last hour. We have 24 hours, 7 days, and we also have all time. Backing out of that, I think we have our timeline. Okay, so this is basically the series of events that it's been able to monitor. And this is the first detected, the first running. So first time we detected it and it's running, and then it disappeared. Oh my gosh, it was gone for 6 hours. And then it reappeared. Oh, miraculous. And the last observed running, it's seen a total of 20 times. So it is checking in on it pretty frequently. And I think you can also adjust that too. You can adjust the time that it will refresh. And you can also push a manual refresh. You have some buttons at the top here. We have the trigger scan. This will scan all of our containers for us. The submit telemetry, I believe that is sending, I think, a little bit of information to the, I think the developer of this, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's one of the things you can agree to. We have help, and then we have some settings up here, some notifications, and we can also sign out. I'll jump into those in just a little bit. All right, moving on. Like I said, we can restart, we can stop. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do the stop right here. And yep. And in a little while, this will show as stopped. It's not as real time as you may think it is, because it does check every couple of minutes. Again, this is adjustable, but you know, you're probably not going to see this immediately go off. So it does take time for it to refresh its status. Let's go while we're waiting for that one to pop off. Let's go to monitoring. This is where we're going to see all of our really cool stats about our different containers. So we have this one is just an easy view right there. Just kind of like hovering over that. Neat. I can see some spikes there. But if I want to see some details, I click on detailed. And there we have similar, our resource usage, and then our time frame that is specifiable. So you can see kind of like your heavy hitters right there. Don't see a really way to filter based off of that. That would be really cool. Again, very new project. I think it was just released in like October. So very, very new. Images. These are all the different images that we have, and we can delete them if we want to. Probably not going to be able to delete these because they're in use. That's fine. But you can prune. This is kind of neat. Check this out. We can prune unused images and for our different host machines. So we have one that's there. We want to prune it. Cool. That will get rid of all of our unused images, and it will also show you how much space you've reclaimed. Very neat. Security. This is really freaking cool. I'm going to move myself out of the way a little bit so you can see this. This will scan for vulnerabilities across all of your different containers and show you which containers are running, which ones are, this one's running on a remote server, and these are the different vulnerabilities that are running on these. Let me do this. I want to change, I think the remote ones are going to show up there. And let's see. Yeah, I think it's just scanning the ones that, yeah, it says 21 total scan. Maybe it might be just still scanning actually. Let's take a look here. So we have a couple of settings. We can enable vulnerability scans, auto scan new images. We have our worker size here, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this hasn't been running for very long. So it's probably still doing scans both on my local and my remote containers. That's pretty cool. Alert on high vulnerability. Yes, please. So we can update our database. So just click that and hey, it's updated. We can initiate a scan on all images. So we can initiate that scan. It looks like there are 5 workers. Yeah, check it out right here. So there are 5 workers, 5 scanning, and 6 queued. So if you are wondering if this is doing anything, that is where you're going to see that information. And we hover over this. Yeah, so let's see. This one says remote image not available for scanning. That's interesting to know. So it looks like you can only really scan for vulnerabilities on containers running on your local Docker. So that's good to know. Good to know. If you do find any vulnerabilities, like this one, we have Postgres 16 is running 0 critical, 5 high, and some mediums. We can initiate a rescan. We can see when it was scanned, and we can just hit details. Details will show you all of the different vulnerabilities that it's detected and give you the CVE score. And you can click on that and find out information about this particular vulnerability. I love that part. That's something that's like above and beyond, I think. And hopefully in the future, we might be able to do that remote. I think that would be really cool. I'm not sure why all of my images aren't showing up here because I do have a bunch of them, I believe. Let's see. I'm just going to check here real quick. Well, it's only showing these. So maybe it has scanned all of them, but yeah, the ones that are remote, it doesn't appear like it has that ability. So maybe I'm wrong. If I am, please correct me. This is, like I said, a huge project, trying to cover a lot of it, but there is a whole bunch of moving pieces and it's ever evolving. That's why there was an update to one of the agents before I made this video and I just deployed it this morning. Okay, so moving on. Let's click on graph. One of my favorite parts of this is the graph. And that is because you can see all of the containers and how they are connected to their own little like networks. So this one is prod local backup. We can see that we have 20 containers connected to this, and you can drag and drop them. It does not keep their place if you drag and drop them, just FYI. We can see we have a couple of containers that are living under smaller networks like OpenSearch and OpenSearch Dashboard are living under this particular, like the server search network. And we have a couple of machines connected to the Nginx app network. So that looks like Nginx Proxy Manager can talk to these different machines. There's Vault and Bin2. And then we have a couple of big ones. The options here are at the very top. You can select different projects and you can isolate them. So if there is a particular, I think, network, let's see. So we click on Nginx, we can highlight it. There we go, it's highlighted, or isolate, and that will just show you that single network. Let's see, and we can also do something similar, I think, with this. Yeah, so let's see, this one is the Nginx default, and let's look at Bin2. Bin2 shows up there, and that's where it's connected. That's neat. All right, force. All right, so let's check out the different layouts. Oh, that's freaking cool. I haven't seen that before. So that's neat. Can you drag and drop them? Oh, you can. Nifty. All right, hierarchical, circular. That's fun and helpful, maybe. Grid. All right, that's cool. Looks like a spider web and nifty. Concentric. Tell me how that's useful. Whatever, man. I like this one. I think this is badass. All right, so very, very cool. You can also color by project if you want to, but I thought this was very neat. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't save anything, any changes you make here. I wish that it did. That would be a really cool feature, is for, you know, any changes, any dragging and dropping that you do, that when you navigate away from it, it does save it and you can come back to it. But maybe in the future, maybe already, I don't know. All right, go to hosts. This is where we will add additional hosts. We will show you that during the installation part of this video. But basically, spoiler alert, you click add right here, you give it a name, you give it the URL plus the port, the API key that you generate, and then a description, and then enable or disable collection. And you can also enable or disable collections right here too. History, this is all the different things that it's seen. It's seen machines or containers powered up. It's seen if they go offline. And this is kind of just, I think, just a summary of that, of all the different things that, let's see here. Let's click on, this will probably show something very similar. Let's click on timeline. Yeah. So this is the kind of like the same thing that we saw earlier with the, hey, I saw it, it was running, but it's disappeared. It's kind of weird. And it's come back and now it's happy. And then it restarted. All right, activity. This is going to be, I believe, all of the times and the things that it has done in the background. If it's done a scan, if it's, you know, sent a telemetry, these are all the times that it's done things. So you'll know exactly what your program's doing. Reports, I have not played around with too much. Let's hit last 7 days and let's generate a report. Cool. Well, that's nifty. So this will generate just an easy to view report of all of the different things that it's seen, like some statistics here. Can't imagine this would print very well or at all. Let's see, does it print? No, it's just a report. It's just yeah, just a way for you to see everything that's happened and getting an idea as far as, you know, last 30, 90 days, whatever. Notifications, if there are notifications that are coming down, a high CPU usage, memory, this is where you're going to see those. Easy peasy. All right, so let's jump back over here to our settings at the very top right, because everything else we kind of see, there's the notifications, the same place too. All right, cool. So here's a couple of things that we can change. I will show you this too. This doesn't really have a user management system. It's just a single user, and out of the box, it doesn't even ask you for authentication. So that's why I'm running it locally. You can add a single sign-in to it if you want to, but honestly, it's probably one of those things that's best to run locally, so you can kind of control who has access to it. You can see some people are doing some serious damage if they gained access to this and all of your different host machines. All right, so we have our scan interval. 5 minutes is recommended, but you can go all the way down to 1 and as low as, or as high as 15. Let's see, we have our different container card styles. Right now it's set for modern dashboard. It looks like we have spacious and compact. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oh, yeah, that's kind of nifty. I like the modern one though. What do you guys think? Let's go to spacious. Ooh, it's so spacious. And let's go to modern, and that's where we're going to stay. Next up, we have our submission frequency. Applies to all collectors. Configure telemetry endpoints to track anonymous container usage stats. Enable the community collector to help improve container census, or add your own private collectors. Right now, this is what is being collected at the community level for them. So it's collecting these, and this is what it's not collecting. You can disable or enable this, totally up to you. It's completely optional. I really didn't see any harm in adding it, but then again, that's just me. I believe there's also instructions on their GitHub page on how to create these collectors too for your own analytics, if that's something that you want to do. I'm not going to really cover that. I'm going to show you how to create a server and a client. The rest of it, I'll kind of leave up to you. I think this does just fine on its own without the telemetry, but yeah, it's up to you, man. All right, here's where you can add those additional servers. We now have also our image updates. So zoom in here a little bit. This is going to be checking every 24 hours for updates. You can go every hour, you can go weekly. You can adjust it to however often or as little as you want to. And last couple of things we have here is exporting our settings to a YAML file. If we want to back up, maybe we want to move this to a production server, maybe we're just experimenting and now we're ready to go. You do have a download YAML and then an upload YAML, so you can move the server around if you need to. And the last thing we have is we can reset things to default, so we can clear container history, clear vulnerability scans, clear activity, or just absolutely destroy it all and clear everything. Look at his skulls. That's what delete everything. I'm not going to do that. Or will I? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. All right. Well, that's pretty much it. I hope I didn't talk your ear off too bad. If I didn't, and you're still interested in knowing how to set this up on your own environment, that's what we're going to do next. So I'll see you over in the installation in like 2 seconds. Okay, are you guys ready to get started with this installation? I know I am. All right, so we're going to start off where we usually start off, and that is on the GitHub page. And with this, we're just going to kind of take a look a little bit here. We got some awesome screenshots if you just want to look at all the different things. A lot of the things we should have covered. I don't think there was anything that we really didn't, other than this cool little container updates available. But that is awesome. We did cover the updates a little bit on how to do that per container. All right, so there's a couple of things we need to cover. We have the server right here, and then we have the agent. However, if you are just running this, locally on just one Docker server, you don't have to worry about loading the agent and the server. The server will act as an agent for just a single installation. There are also a couple of things that we're going to take a look at, but we're going to go ahead and get the server started first. I'm going to copy this guy, and I'm going to head over to my Portainer instance that's going to be my server. And I'm going to go to stacks, and I'm going to go ahead and add a stack and census server, and we'll paste this. So let's take a look at a couple of things before we proceed. You'll see that it does make reference to a couple of variables here, and does need that environment variable. So let's go ahead and find those in a file. So if we scroll up, we should be able to find them right here. .env for all images example. All right, so we can go ahead and copy this guy. Let's go ahead and just copy him. And we'll come back to him a little bit later on too. And for the environment, we'll go ahead and go to advanced mode down here at the bottom, and we'll go ahead and paste that file. It's going to strip out all of the comments. So if you need to read those, please do so. Let's go ahead and cover the container file, and then we'll move down to the environment file so that we can cover those two. So starting off, we have the image that we're pulling, and that's the latest one. We are using a restart policy of unless stopped, which means the server reboots, image comes up automatically. The port we're going to be listening to is on 8080, and that's going to be forwarding to port 8080. So we're not making this internet facing, so we don't really have to worry about commenting out this unless you want to listen on a different port. 8080 is pretty common. I'm going to go ahead and change this to 988. That's a not so common port that I don't have to worry about some sort of conflicts later on down the road. Next up, we have the sock that it's going to be connecting to. That'll give it access to our Docker. And we are setting up some persistent storage for a database. I'm going to change this a little bit because I like to control that sort of thing inside of Portainer. So I'm just going to do census dash server right here to set up this mapped volume. And at the very bottom of this container file, we'll add some extra lines. Next up, we have our database configuration. If you decided you wanted to use a different database, we are not going to. We're going to use the database that comes built into it, but you do have the availability of using that if you want to. And it looks like you can just set this up so that it'll send this information off to another server, most likely another census server. Next up, we have our authentication enabled or disabled. If you do want to enable this, what you'll have to do is hit delete a couple of times so that it lines up like this, and we'll change this to true. And then you can add a username and you add a password. That is just a single username and password, not an admin that you can add others later on. This will be the one that you will use. I'm not going to do that. You can if you want to. The session secret, you just change it to whatever, like a 32-bit character password or something, or string, whatever you want to make it. It doesn't really matter. Moving on, we have our time zone, which is being defined in our environment file. And if not, it'll try to default back to UTC. And then we have our health check. This is doing a quick wget off of this address just to make sure that the server is responding. If not, it's going to fail this health check. Let's keep scrolling down. All right, so our Docker group ID, this GID, is going to allow it to communicate with Docker, and that's set to 999. And right now our time zone is set to UTC. If you want to set it to something different, then just Google PHP time zones, and you'll see that in there. You'll find a website that'll list all the different time zones, and you can change it. Our agent token is not really needed here. Neither is our agent port. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I am also not going to be using Postgres, but you can if you want to. I'm not going to be doing that. And I also don't need telemetry heading off to any other server. If you are interested in that, the telemetry information is on the main page down here. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, here's where they tell you how to set up running your own analytics server. This is at the bottom. I'm not going to be covering that in this video, but you can if you want to. And you see that's where your extra environment variables come in, because you will need a Postgres server. I think they spin one up for you, so that shouldn't be a big deal. But again, not really something that we really need at this point. But if you decide to do it, let me know how it goes. All right, so one thing we have to do before we finish this off is go ahead and establish our volumes. And let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and create our volumes here. And that will have to match up here at the top with our census server. And if you're like me, you probably got this syntax error at the top here, saying there's an error with your syntax. And that is because this compose file, while it probably works great inside of like Docker, like the terminal window, not so much with Portainer. With Portainer, we're going to add a services, and then we're going to add this server in there. That should fix our issue. Or actually, we might be able just to get away with doing that. Let's try that. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. That's fine. That's okay. We will fix it. Let's go ahead and add services, colon. And there we go. We add that inside of the server, outside of the services. All right, let's try this here. Yep, here we go. So just something to keep in mind. And again, to review what we did, we'll probably have to do it with the agent as well, is at the tippy top here, we added just this services, and then we made sure that this was tabbed up underneath it, which it already was. So easy peasy. Let's check our status, make sure everything's going fine. It looks like it is. If we go back to our stack here, we are healthy. Good. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate my tab here. And remember, we're running our server on 988. So we're going to go to the top of our address bar here, and we're going to replace all this. Let's see, with 988. That is our port number. We're also going to make sure that we remove the S because it is not secured by a certificate. So if everything went fine, you should be prompted with this. It should already be scanning all of your containers. It's going to run you through this tour if you want. We're going to go ahead and let's do this tour. I'm going to do start tour, and yep, enable automatic checking. Yes. And then here we go. Here's a couple of things. Here's a couple more things. Here's getting started, and we're done. All right, so we do have our containers that are the ones that are running locally to our local our server. And so we're able to see all that information pretty much immediately. Now I'm going to show you how to set them up so that you can use other Docker hosts as agents, so that you can connect to them and pull in the same information under a single pane of glass. All right, so let's go over to one of our Portainer instances that is running Docker as well, but nothing other than a bunch of production containers. We need to get our agent on there. Let's go over to our census, and I'm going to back end one here. Oops, too far. There we go. And let's scroll down, and let's find our agent. So here is our census agent. I keep going to call it consensus agent. There's our census agent. Let's go ahead and copy that. Head over to Portainer, and let's add a stack, and I'm just going to call this census agent, and let's paste him in here. All right, so we do have some variables. Let's make sure that we go back and grab a copy of that environment file. Oops, up we go. All the way to the top. Here we go, and let's go ahead and copy this guy. Head back over to our agent, scroll all the way to the bottom, just like we did with the server, paste him in here. Excellent. All right, so a couple of things we can get rid of. We can get rid of all this. And now we can define a user, an agent port that's different than 9876 if you wanted to. That is up to you. You have plenty of options to choose from. We do need to come up with an API key. So let's just do this. Generate API key. Just type that into Google. Here we go. Random free API keys for your viewing pleasure. There we go. All right, easy peasy. You can find everything on Google. All right, let's paste that into there. I'm going to keep my time zone the same. I'm not really worried about changing that. The Docker group ID is also going to remain the same. All right, so we should have all of that configured correctly. Remember what we did last time when we added that services in there. We're going to need to do that for here too, because I have a funny feeling we're going to run into that same issue if we don't. I just selected all of it and just tabbed it once, so it fell underneath of our services. I'm sure we probably could have tried it without that, but you know, Save some time. All right, so make sure that we have our API key. You can copy and paste this into a text pad if you want to. It doesn't really matter. You'll be able to get it from the container. Even it's not going to be encrypted or anything. Let's go ahead and deploy this stack. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so far so good. All right, let's check in our census agent. And it says it's starting. Let's check our logs. And one thing that I did run into that maybe you have a different solution for it, but it is telling me right now permission has been denied getting access to the SOC for the Docker. I have figured out a fix for this. Again, tell me if this is wrong, but I searched around a little bit and this is the best solution I found. If we go back under editor and we go under this part right here, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see. I'm going to jump in right underneath this, hit tab, and then type in user root. And I didn't really cover going through all of this right here because a lot of it's the same exact thing as the server. So I am going to make that change. So I made that change on mine, just telling it to go ahead and run it as root. And let's see here. Let's see if this works. All right, let's check under our logs and see now we don't have any error messages and it is running and it's able to communicate with the SOC. All right, so now that we do have that up and going, we need to know a couple of pieces of information. Let's go ahead and jump back here. I'm going to need my IP address and that port number, the 9786. And if I scroll down, I should be able to find my API token. There it is right there. There's my port. And let's go back to our container census and let's add a host. And I go to hosts, gonna go to add. And I'm just going to call this cloud server. Doesn't matter what you call it. Paste in my URL. This is going to be HTTP. It is not encrypted. And the port 9876. And now we need our API. And just on a side note, if you did want to make this HTTPS, there's nothing preventing you from running this through Nginx Proxy Manager and putting a certificate on it, although you would have to create a subdomain for it. So you need something to tie that certificate back there. So it is possible. And if that's something that you think you might be interested in knowing about, you're welcome to post down below. Maybe I can make an additional video. Let's test this connection. All right, we got successful, agent is reachable. I'm going to enable immediate CPU collection. I'm going to hit add. Oops. If you do this, take the backslash out. My bad. Okay, we're online. All right, and I'm going to press the little refresh button at the top here, and this will start pulling my host machine. And hopefully, in a little bit here, I'll see my container number jump from 36 to it looks like 57. Let's see, I'm going to refresh the page. Yeah, there we go. There's my containers. And again, I can separate them out by hitting cloud server. Here's all the ones that are living, even that one that we stopped. Here it is. And I can start it up again. I think. Yeah, I did. All right. Well, what did you think? Is this something you think you might want to use? Was there any questions, anything that I didn't answer for you? Anything I didn't cover that you think that should have been covered? Let me know. I think this is an amazing little project. And like I said, it's pretty new, but it's under very active development. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you found it lacking something, it's okay to give me a thumbs down. Let me know what you didn't like about it. And if you want to keep watching me, just hit that subscribe button up there, and it'll let you know. All right, I'll talk to you guys later on. Take care. Bye-bye.